the question is, why should I give you deferred? It appears from everything that I've read that you took the proceeds from property and those proceeds were to be distributed to children, and it was not.
That's not true. The documents aren't true.
Do you want a jury trial? Do you want a jury trial?
You do not want a jury trial. We
No,
discussed it,
no.
right?
Well, when you took it from the house, where did you take it?
Wow.
All right, so is it still at your house? You want me to call your mom? Have his mother come back up here, please. Step to the side. Where is her son's PlayStation? Your son just said he took it to your house. Where's the PlayStation?
I don't know anything about PlayStation.
Unless somebody wants to tell me where that PlayStation is, because that mother wants her son's PlayStation that her deceased husband gave to the son. For the state,
Richard, get up to the state.
for the defense.
Michael J. Sawyer,
Ms. Stelzig, where are you?
right here.
Are you Ms. Stelzig?
Yes, ma'am.
You entered a plea on July 11th. You applied for deferred adjudication. There was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment was to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication. They're recommending community supervision. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report? State,
None, Your Honor.
defense?
None, Your Honor.
All right, all
Some explanations, but it's substantially correct.
right, thank you. Does anyone have any witnesses? State,
No, Your Honor.
defense?
No.
You have witnesses?
No.
All right. I know that the state is opposed to her application for deferred adjudication, but state, since you have no witnesses, I'll proceed with the defense first.
Thank you.
One at a time. Okay, so here's the thing, everyone.
Wait, wait, wait.
We're doing a hearing, so everyone needs to sit down if you're not a part of this hearing. All right, can you raise your, well, I'm sorry, defense, call your witness.
For the benefit of the court reporter, say your name out loud and spell your name.
Kimberly Tristan, KIMBERLY, TRISTAN.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Defense?
Thank you. Do you know why you're here today? Why we called you? In relation to a lady named Laurie Stelzik or Laurie Stelzik. To tell the court, how long have you known Laurie Stelzik?
My whole life,
And how long?
38 years.
And describe the court for how you know her.
I am her niece.
Did you know her and when she was married to Mr. Ruiz?
Yeah.
And how many years did that relationship last?
Oh my gosh, 20 some odd? A long time.
And where is Ruiz at today?
So
Mhm.
she is passed away.
He died, right?
Yeah.
During the time that he was married to Ms. Stelzik, like on Laura Stelzik, could you describe the nature of that relationship as you saw it, as you grew up with it, between Laurie and her husband?
I think it was dependent upon the day. Some days it was really wonderful and some days it was chaos. Really dependent upon what was going on, where everybody was, kind of where the headspace was. Obviously, as they got further along into it, it got more chaotic and part of the happiness.
Ruiz is not here today. You tell the judge described his personality and who called the shots to make the decisions in that family.
100%.
When it came down to doing things that may have been a gray area, who had to do it?
Laurie usually.
And you familiar with the events that occurred that led to this plea that Ms. Stelzik entered?
Yeah.
This involved, it's like fraud or the transaction of a home, is that correct?
Yes.
For her signature perhaps. You know Laurie, you know her family, and you know them very well. Did Laurie Stelzik in any way personally profit from that thing? In fact, as a result of being married to Mr. Ruiz up to the time of his death, Has Lori Stelzer come out financially ahead or behind?
Huh.
As far as you know, is Lori Stelzer today broke and unemployed?
Yes.
After the transactions took place, you see a great increase in her lifestyle, her spending, vacations, or anything?
No.
Who was the person that benefited financially from those transactions?
Well, he took it for a straight profit.
And who is this man you call Merle?
Oh,
Raul Ruiz,
yes.
the deceased husband. He's the one that kept the cash, kept the money, kept everything going. Is that your estimation?
Yes, beforehand. And then we were left with bills. Or she was left with bills.
And after he died, she had to pay all the bills off.
Yes.
You know that Lori Stelzick, that's the way I know her, is applying for deferred adjudication. It's a kind of a probation, where if you complete it successfully, at the end of the day, the case can be dismissed. You have no conviction on your record. That's different from regular probation.
Okay.
If Judge Boyd sees fit to grant a request for deferred adjudication, knowing Lori Stelzick, do you think she could abide by and go with all the conditions and rules imposed upon her by the court?
Yes.
And we ask the court to consider her application for deferred.
Absolutely.
At this time, I'll pass the witness. State probably has questions. Don't we get?
No, no, it's fine.
State.
Thank you. So you're aware that the house from 215 Sadie Street was sold, correct?
Yes.
You know how much that house sold for?
151, I don't know.
109, excuse me, 119. Wow. $111,907.86.
111?
Mhm.
No, not $111.
How much?
111,000 maybe?
Thousand.
That's not, okay, I was like,
Okay.
oh gosh.
You testified now that Raul took all the money, is that correct?
No, it's not that he took all of the money, it's that he took the profit from the money and the bills all stayed off. The house next door was paid off, there was his truck was paid off. The bills at the other house were paid off.
Have you looked at the actual bank records that were submitted to the court in this case?
No,
Have you looked at Lori Stelz's bank records?
no,
Are you aware that the money from this case was transferred into an account that was owned by Ms. Stelzig and her family?
yes,
Are you aware that after that occurred, Ms. Stelzig transferred the money into an account that only she owned, that Raul had no access to
after they separated?
before they separated?
You sure it was before they separated?
Or after?
If it was after they separated, probably.
And so how is it that Raul profited from the money when it all went into Lori's account and he had no access to it?
Because he took everything that was paid off and then everything that was at home. And then he still got cash as well. I do believe there's even a check that was made out to him afterwards for maybe $15,000. Not positive on that.
There's no evidence of that in this file. Are you aware of any evidence?
No.
So it's your testimony that Raul took all the money, even though the bank records show
Not say that
otherwise?
he took all of the money. I said that he took off and what he had profit up. His truck was paid off, the house next door was paid off. He was also collecting rent on the house next door. All of those things, yes, made him profit.
And, sorry, forgive me, the house and the truck, those aren't things that were alleged to have been stolen via fraud, right? We're talking about the house on 215 Sadie Street, right?
Mhm.
And the money, the profit from the house on 215 Sadie Street went to Ms. Stelzig, isn't that right?
If you have the records, then I'm sure that it did. I don't have access to everything, obviously.
And so what you're really testifying today is that you don't have any specific knowledge about what happened to the money from the house on 215 Sadie Street.
I know that she didn't take off and go to the Bahamas or anything like that. I can say that much. I know that it was a struggle and that he was the one that took care of everything. And when he left, that she was destitute and that was it. And then everything was kind of left on the pavement at that point.
Again, you haven't looked at the bank records yourself.
Mhm.
And where did you learn all this information? From Lori
I
herself?
live next door to her and see her daily.
So you learned it from Lori?
Mhm.
Very good. Pass the witness.
So I have, thank you.
All right, call your next witness. Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Shelley Rose Turner.
Please spell it for court reporter.
SHELLYRUIZTURNER.
Thank you. Now, okay, if I call you Shelley, Shelley, let me ask you, how do you know Miss Stelzick
My mother,
and Raul Ruiz?
he is my father.
And when the family goes a family, there was yourself, your dad, Laurie, anybody else?
I had an older sibling, a brother, but he was already 10 years older than me when I was little, so he moved out relatively young.
Okay. You know why Miss Stelzick's in court today, right? She's asking the judge to consider her application for a deferred adjudication. Do you have a good working knowledge about so-called fraud that went on? Miss Stelzick has pled to in this court. There's some money involved, about 111,000. When this occurred, how old were you?
I believe I was almost 17, so 16, 17.
And did you have a good knowledge of what was going on with the family finances at that time?
They were both very open with me about that, so I would say for a 17-year-old, yeah.
Okay. So the house is sold, there's about $111,000 comes out of it. What happened to that money?
Well, my dad was really pushing to sell the house. I feel like he kind of knew he was gonna leave us. So he wanted to get it done. He wanted to try to get all of those assets taken care of, and he would tell my mom, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go tomorrow, and she's like, well, I'm busy, so he really just pushed her, and when the house sold, my dad liked to make everything under my mom's name, so he put it in an account, or well, they put it into an account together, and from there on out, I believe when my dad left, my mom said, well, I need money to live off of, I'm gonna take this before you can take it all, and then just split it up in mediation through divorce. Well, my dad was the type to tell her, well, you're either going to give me money out of that account, or I'm gonna go and leave you pretty much.
This is important, I guess. During this relationship, they were married. Was this a controlling environment?
Very much so, not just to her, to me, to everybody who was around us.
Was your own father abusive of you? Did he threaten you? Did he beat you?
He did strike me a couple times when I was a lot younger. I'm sorry. CPS did have to get involved because of him. And he would tell me, if you tell them anything, it's going to be a lot worse for you. And when I was about 17, he had hit me again, trying to defend my mother.
And why were you trying to defend your mother, Laurie Stelzick? What was happening?
My dad would throw her downstairs. He would threaten her.
Threaten her how?
He would tell her, I'm gonna kill you, so I'm gonna kill your kid, so I'm gonna kill her first, you have to watch.
So your dad wanted to say to you, he would kill his wife Laurie, and you had to watch, right?
He said he would kill me and then make her live with that and then kill her.
So the person after this money got there, you can't say today where this part went, where that part went, but who is the person benefited primarily from that money in the sale of that home?
Well, my father,
What did he do with that money? How did he use it?
he had a girlfriend and he said he wanted to make sure that she had somewhere to stay and that live, and he had paid off his truck and gave it to her, which was a truck that, was supposed to go to me for college. It was right around the corner. He would try all sorts of things to try to get me to go and live with him, so she would be all alone with nothing. He would bribe me with money. He would say, I'll buy you a new car. I'll buy you a house. But he did tell her one time, I need you to send me $11,000 right now. And she's like, I can't, I have bills to pay. And he said, well, if you don't send it to me, I'm gonna go over there and I'll pull her out and you'll never see her again.
Referring to who?
To
You?
me, to myself.
He'd pull you out of the house and Laurie would never see you again. Your own dad told you that. If you didn't get $11,000 from whom?
From my mother. He tried to run me over with the vehicle a couple times. He busted down my door several times when my daughter was sleeping in the room, and it just never ended.
So take it your father was not a loving and kind man towards his family.
He was my dad. He did have loving attributes. He was very good to me until about 14.
But
when
age
it just
14.
completely changed.
Let me just ask you a simple question, I suppose. of all that money that came out of the sale of that house, who benefited the most from that money? Raul Ruiz or Lori, his wife?
Raul.
And what money Lori still got, even threatened her to get that money, didn't he?
I didn't even think we could pay the electric bill when he first left. Yep. He said we had all this money. I ended up having to almost quit school and get a job to support us, so I would say he benefited the majority.
You know you're your oath today, right?
Yes.
You wouldn't come here to lie to Judge Boyd, would you? That's all I have. I'll pass this to the state of Texas. He may have questions for you.
When you got that job, where did you work?
There's
What did you make?
maybe $9 an hour.
You have access to the bank records in this case?
No, I was a minor.
What did? Are you aware as of whether Lori is currently employed?
She's not.
What did she do for a living before now?
She was a home health care provider for both of her parents.
Do you have any other employment
Yeah, she worked at East Central Independent School District,
as what?
I believe. Their nutrition department, they kind of bounced her around.
Has Lori owned any other properties?
And both owned 2 separate properties other than their home, 3.
What became of those other properties?
I have no clue what happened to the one next to us. I think his son Justin resold it before we could get our probate done. The other property was Sadie. They sold that. And then the property right next to us, my aunt Kimberly, who just came up, she lives in it.
And so Lori still owns that property?
Yes.
You know where's that property located?
It's either 9740 or 9720 WW.
Who resides there?
My aunt.
You pay rent for Lori?
Yeah, she'll pay our bills.
You know what the rent is?
It's just whatever our bills are for that month.
So you and I guess you live with Lauren right now,
Yeah, me and my husband support Lori for the most part.
and so the bill that the rent from that property just pays the out those bills.
Yeah, so-
No further questions.
Has one reason been that Lori has not been employed is because when she goes out and try and get a job, they see his charges pending, in fact, turn her down a lot of time. It's not that she has not been trying to get a job.
Oh, no, she's tried and tried. We put our resumes everywhere.
And her source of income is dried up to the extent if we're out for you and your husband, she gets a street based. And as I tell Judge Boyd this morning,
She Lori helps everybody around her. She's never done anything bad in her life to anybody.
and you're asking Judge to consider her application for deferred adjudication this morning.
I am.
That's all I have, Joe.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Call your next witness. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Are you can lower your hand, state your name for the record?
Emma Laporte,
All right,
Spell that
Vince.
last name for the court reporter.
LACOUR.
Emma, tell us, how old are you?
I am 43.
We won't tell anybody, it's okay. Can you tell the court, are you employed?
Yes, I am.
What kind of work do you do?
I am a barber.
And how long have you followed that profession?
Going on 10 years.
Prior to that, what kind of work were you doing?
Liquor store.
Have you been employed?
Hold on, hold on. Didn't hear it. Speak up louder.
Liquor store. Yes.
Have you been employed most of your life?
Yes.
Can you tell the court, where are you living?
I'm living in Corpus Christi.
And how long have you been in Corpus Christi, Texas?
I moved back to San Antonio. I think I moved back in 2011. I was here from Corpus and then I moved back. I came back to San Antonio and then I moved back to 2011.
One of the reasons we are here is about a signature that was signed by Lauren Stelzick, and is actually supposed to be your signature.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Can you explain to Judge Boyd what property that involved And what was going on at that time?
It was the house on Sadie Street. We're supposed to gone on over the phone and do a signature. I didn't know that it was not valid that way, so it was done over the phone. My signature.
Who was handling this transaction on the phone? Was it a realtor? Was it a notary public?
I believe it was a notary.
And tell Judge Boyd, why would your signature be needed that day?
It was the signature sign that Lori had owned the house of the property.
And was your name anywhere on that property?
No.
And what was your signature needed for as far as you knew?
It's saying that she owned the property.
And you did that by phone, but in fact, you were not in front of a notary when it happened. You gave your permission telephonically, but not in person.
Correct.
But as far as the actual transaction taking place, you have no personal knowledge, do you?
No.
You were not there.
No.
You would explain to the court that's how Laurie Stelzick signed your
Yes,
signature.
my signature.
With your permission,
With my permission over the phone.
did you know that was an illegal proceeding to do that?
No, no,
You know now that it has to be done in front of a notary if that's the fact,
correct.
for identification to prove that you are that person.
Correct.
Thank you. I will now pass the witness.
Is that your signature?
No, not that one signature, no.
So it's your testimony today that Lori Stelzick forged that signature?
She, fine, yes,
And she told you that it was a signature demonstrating that you own the house?
that I own,
I'm sorry, that Lori owns 213 Sadie?
yes,
So you don't know who Romelia Ruiz is?
yes, I do.
Who is she?
That it is Rose mother
And where did she pass away?
in Mexico.
Where in Mexico?
Somewhere in, I can't even think, it's been so long.
Do you remember when in Mexico? You remember how?
Yes, it was right when the Firestone's tires had that issue with the tires blowing out and she was in a van with a bunch of people in it. A child was killed in that accident.
And did you know that Raul and Beatrice had another brother?
You know,
And so Lori, with your permission, put your signature on a legal document. Is that correct?
yes.
And that's this document that states that you know personally Romelia Ruiz
Mm-hmm,
and how she died
mm-hmm.
and who her siblings are.
The only was B as far as I know.
And you now are testifying that you don't generally know where she died or when she died.
I know she died in Mexico. What year, I don't recall. I've had a lot of past people, it's kind of hard to remember what year people passed, but
And this is an affidavit of heirship. This would be demonstrating that you were a close personal friend of this family in Mexico. Were you a close personal friend of Amelia?
I wasn't very close, but I knew who she was. I knew she came to the house.
So Lori asked you to lie in the
Hush,
document.
please.
No, she didn't tell me to lie. She lied me? How am I lying to her? Or I don't understand, because is it showing that I'm lying if I know her mother? I don't know them personally. I knew,
All right, if there's going to be any further questioning of this witness, she's going to need an attorney.
No further questions, Your
No
Honor.
further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
you.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
No, I believe there are other family members, friends in court that would come up and testify essentially to the same issues. Could just be reputation by Raul Ruiz.
Okay.
The relation between them, the abusive nature of that relationship. With that, I think we'll just go ahead and call no more witnesses.
All right, Ms. Stelzick, you can resume in the middle. Is there anything you wish to say?
Lauren?
If you do, you're going to be placed under oath and the state will have a chance to cross-examination. All right, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can lower your hand and state your name for the record, please.
Laurie Ruiz.
All right. So of course, here's the crux of the situation before anybody questions you or cross-examine you. The question is, why should I give you deferred? It appears from everything that I've read that you took the proceeds from property and those proceeds were to be distributed to children, and it was not.
That's not true. The documents aren't true. I
Oh,
have,
do you want a jury trial?
I have paperwork stating that I own.
Do you want a jury trial?
You do not want your trouble.
No,
Discuss it,
no.
right?
All right. All right, so this is what the court is going to do. The court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's restitution of $18,651.31 to Beatriz Vasquez, $18,651.31 to Patricio Ruiz. There's to be no contact with Beatriz Vasquez, Cecilia Ruiz, Patricia Ruiz. There's going to be proof of employment within 40 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. There's to be regular reporting and regular UAs. Ms. Stelzick, this is money that has to be paid back. And I know sometimes people do not, we can go off the record, Brenna. I know sometimes people don't want to work certain jobs because they think it's beneath them. But guess what? When you have children, when you owe money, you got to work whatever job is available because you got to pay people you owe and support whatever children you have. You understand? All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Here are Mr. Sawyer. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand? All right, Ms. Stelzick, good luck to you. All right, you're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Sawyer.
Thank you for considering it this morning. We appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. It's always great seeing you. Take care of yourself, Mr.
will.
Sawyer. All right, who's here on? All
We have two short witnesses.
right, call your first name, witness.
Can we call Maria Valdez? We did have a translator for her this morning. I don't think the translator's back. I do think she's, I think her English is very good. I think she'll be able to do it.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record?
Maria Inés Valderas, Calderon.
All right, you can lower your hand. All right, that's okay. Are you able to understand English?
Yes.
All right, and are you okay to proceed without an interpreter?
Yeah.
All right, all right, state.
Ms. Valdez, can you tell, so this is the judge. She didn't talk to her a little bit. Can you tell us where you live?
I'm living 1451 West Gray.
May I have that street again, ma'am?
1451 West Gray,
Is
And-
Crane?
West Gray, CRAIG.
Thank you.
And are you the victim in this case?
Yes.
The judges read the police reports, but can you tell the judge who was at your house whenever this robbery occurred?
Where is my house?
Yeah, who was there?
I am and my little son. He's 10 years old. The name is Marcos Valderas.
And where were you and Marcus whenever the robbery happened?
I'm in my room.
And where were you doing in your room?
I'm trying to prepare to go to sleep. To put my little son to sleep, and usually I watch TV in the night. So I'm in my room.
Can you tell the judge what happened whenever the people broke into your room?
Well, at first I hear a little noises in my living room, but it's like very little noise. So I don't get up, just, I think maybe I have one bed with papers in my room, and I think that's all down. So, but when I hear somebody open the door, or it's like two guys with a gun, and at first I'm scared and I'm surprised to see these two guys in my room with a gun. And one of the guys come to my bed. So I'm not have time to get up, just sit down in the bed. And they're kind of asking for my car key. And I said, that in my purse. And I tried to get off to give it to him. But they don't let me do nothing, just the guy told me to stay. Like, don't do nothing, don't scream. And he asked me who is the kid and the baby. He asked me, it's my son. I said, yeah, it's my son. And he said, don't do nothing because I choose him. So,
Just so the judge can hear again, he said, don't do nothing,
yeah,
so that why?
because there I choose your son.
Um,
And I'm asking the guy says, you are my older son friends. My older son name is Daniel. And the other guy said, no, I don't know Daniel, but I recognize John. And I want to ask, you are Daniel friend? Because I recognize John. That's when he get to my room.
Did John and the other man, did they take things from your room?
Yeah, they'll take my my phone. They take my John get my wallet and I'm ask, please don't take my wallet, but because I have my green card in my wallet. And I said, please leave my green card, just it's okay to take my wallet and everything. Then he tried to take out, he said, where is your green card and put in my wallet? And he tried to take my green card, but it's a lot, I have a lot of cards. So he told my purse and find the keys and get my wallet. And he get all the money and leave my wallet with everything else. But he take out the money and the card, my car keys. And I hear he disconnect in the living room, the TV and the PlayStation for my son. And I'm asked, please don't take the PlayStation because that's my husband present to my little son. He passed away. And that's very important for Marcos, the PlayStation, because he want to keep it forever, like memory. And the guy that stay in my room, he said, you asking for too much. Because I already gave it to a green card. And I feel better because he come for more. I'm asking because he come to my house and broke my keys and broke my son's keys. Because now
I'm sorry.
Say that part again.
he broke my son's keys, you know.
Are you
Because
saying
he
your
feel,
piece?
yeah, he don't feel safe and he's home. Just like he's like, mommy, I don't want to live here anymore. I
Yeah,
live in my house.
Yeah, how long have you lived at that house?
I live in my house for like 15 years.
And you said that John was friends with your son. Did John know that, you mentioned that your husband passed away, correct?
Yeah, he knows everything on my life because I know him for like 5 years because he's my older son friend.
So did he know you were by yourself without anyone else?
Yeah,
I'm gonna object, John, to what John did. I don't think she would.
I can't quite hear you, counsel. Again,
I'm gonna object to that question, to ask him what John knew. I don't think he has personal knowledge.
So what is your legal objection?
Objection, she doesn't have personal knowledge of what someone else would know.
I think she would know.
That'll be overruled. All right, we have an interpreter. Yes, come forward. Yes. All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record.
Flavia Valle, license 314.
All right, state you may continue asking your questions of the witness.
And Maria, so tell me this, what all did he take from your house?
se llevó la televisión, la troca,
He took the TV, the truck,
la PlayStation de mi hijo,
my son's PlayStation,
juegos
some games,
y dinero en efectivo.
and some cash.
The truck that he took from your house, can you tell me whose truck that was?
Era de mi esposo.
It belonged to my husband.
And can you tell the judge a little bit about how your husband got that truck?
Bueno, él trabajó duro para la camioneta
He worked very hard for the truck.
y aunque él tenía cáncer,
And
él continuó trabajando para mantener su camioneta.
regardless that he had cancer, he continued working in order to keep his own truck.
Y después de que él murió, la camioneta no estaba pagada totalmente.
And after he passed, the truck was not fully paid off.
Y yo tuve que usar mi dinero de mi income tax para terminar de pagarla y poder quedarme con ella como recuerdo.
And I have to use my income tax money in order to finish paying it and keep it as a remembrance.
Maria, did you ever get that truck back?
No,
No,
What happened to the truck?
la encontraron en Uvalde con inmigrantes.
they found it in Uvalde with some immigrants.
Y la policía los persiguió y la chocaron.
And the policeman followed them and it was involving a crash.
And was the car totaled?
Yes,
Did you ever get back the PlayStation that
no,
your son had received from his dad before he passed away?
no, I didn't.
Is there anything else you want the judge to know about how this affected you, what John and the other man did that day they broke in your case, in your house?
Solamente quiero decirles que ha sido muy difícil seguir viviendo ahí.
I just wanted to let you know that it has been very hard for me to continue living at that place
Porque no nos sentimos seguros,
because we no longer feel safe,
pero no tengo a dónde moverme porque esta casa yo la estoy comprando.
but I don't have any other place to go because I'm purchasing that house.
Y no siento que sea algo correcto que personas como John solamente vengan a querer apropiarse de cosas que ellos no trabajan durante.
And I don't think it's right for people like John to just come easily and try to take over things because we work so much and they haven't.
Y yo tengo un hijo
I do have a son,
como John,
as John,
que también hace estas cosas malas.
that he also does this bad things like he does.
Pero él está también cumpliendo su condena.
But he is fulfilling his punishment right now.
Porque es lo mismo que le digo, que no es bueno que solamente vengan sin saber realmente cómo las personas trabajamos duro.
Because it's not right for them just to come easily and without knowing how hard we people work so hard for things.
No creo que sea bueno que no creo que él realmente quiera cambiar su vida, porque tiene mucho tiempo haciendo eso.
And I don't think it's right. And I really don't think he wants to change his life because he's been doing this for a long time.
All right, defense, any questions?
No question.
All right, any other questions?
Just very briefly, Maria, was this the first time he broke into your
John,
house?
I would object to any redirect. There's no cross. So
That'll be overruled.
Maria, was this the first time he broke into your house?
No,
Él entró en 2017,
on 2017, he broke in
cuando yo estaba en México de vacaciones.
when I was in vacation, in Mexico during a vacation.
Y en ese mismo, en la última semana de ese mismo mes,
And on the last week of that same month,
él vino con mi hijo y otro niño a la casa de una persona con la que yo trabajo.
he came with my son and with another young man to the house of a person I used to work for.
Y estaban a robar a su casa.
And they came in and they robbed her house.
Thank you, Maria. I'll pass the witness.
Any follow-up?
no question, John.
All right, thank you.
May the interpreter be excused?
Are there any other
We
witnesses?
have one more witness, but she doesn't need an interview.
All right, thank you. Thank
you,
you so
Judge.
much.
Sure, no question.
All right, call your next witness.
The state will call Lauren Lefton.
Oh, I thought you were here as an attorney to represent someone, but you're here as a witness. All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record.
Lauren Wilson.
All right, state.
And Lauren, just so the record to be clear, you work here in the courthouse, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you know, myself?
Yes.
And you know Judge Boyd?
Yes.
And
in
Mr.
relation-
Basil.
And do you know Mr. Bissett?
I don't think we know each other personally.
Oh, okay.
But Lauren, you are an attorney who practices criminal law here in San Antonio, correct?
Yes.
How do you know Maria, who was the witness who just testified?
I would say she's been a part of my family or worked for my family since I was a child.
Back, did you have a case where you were a victim where someone burglarized your house?
Yes, in January of 2018, my house was broken into actually 2 days in a row. There was a juvenile case. John and then his son Daniel did do juvenile probation of a form for that matter. And my property was never returned.
John Juarez, who's sitting right here, was criminally charged as a juvenile for that and was placed on some type of juvenile version of supervision for a burglary.
Correct.
And it was a burglary where they broke into your house and stole things.
Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
Defense.
This other person that you mentioned, Daniel, that's the son of, is it correct?
Correct.
She had mentioned her son had been in trouble too.
Correct.
Do you know any facts of the underlying cases?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, as far as the case is concerned, you don't have any personal knowledge of the case before the judge.
No, just what analysis told me. Okay.
No further questions, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Thank
State.
Judge, that's all the witnesses we have. We just have argument.
Defense.
Let's call Anna Warren.
Would you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
I'm John's mother.
Defense.
And Ms. Waters, you've heard the testimony and you're not here today to say anything about the facts of the case, right? You wanna get John on it. Okay, so tell me, you've had some problems with John in the past, is that right? Okay, tell me about.
All right, everybody needs to stop whispering. Because I know when people speak in the hallway to people or you're at your house, nobody is whispering. Court reporter needs to hear what's being said so she can take it down. I need to hear what's going on so that I can make an appropriate decision in this case. So everyone keep your voices here. All right, you may continue.
I was asking you, in the past, have you had any issues with John that you have concerns about?
No, he's, he was being a teenager,
But, I mean, has he had any special needs? Has he had any problems with any mental health issues or any school issues? Can you explain those to the judge?
But he's always had,
Please keep your voice up, ma'am.
oh, he's always had issues. I mean, he was, they did tell me that he had ADD. He's always had problems in school. He's always had problems like concentrating, little things like that.
And have you tried to provide for him and give him some structure?
Yes.
And he's had some problems staying within the structure, right?
Yes.
So do you think he needs to have some more structure in his life to help him?
Well, I mean, as far as him being, locked up, he's been here for a long time. I would like him to get help, as far as I point to that, like what I explained to you at home.
Tell the court what you're talking about, what you explain,
Oh,
what you'd like to
Victory.
see.
There is a program in Victory Outreach, and I believe that, it would help him instead of sending him, to prison. I understand that he did do wrong. I'm not saying that it's okay, whatever he did, growing up. But I don't believe that he should be kept or sent to prison for another, because he's gonna have to adjust to that. Right now he's young, he's still 19, I still have a chance to, the resources, in other words, to help him. He has been in Bear County already for a little over a year. Yes, he has gotten in trouble, he's not perfect. I'm learning with him at the same time, but I do want to be given the chance to help him.
Are there any other family members? I think you're here with your sisters. who's
Yes, my
correct?
daughter,
How old
Eliana
is-
Villarreal.
How old is she?
15.
And she's going to also help and be there in support.
Of course,
Do
yes,
you have any other family members or any other person who you want to also help you?
yes. So, my boyfriend, I've been with him for 13 years and he's been a part of John's life. And, you know, he's a father figure to him. He's never had his father in his life, but as far as a male figure, he's the one who's there for me. And we're all willing to help him.
So you understand that if the court was to grant what you're asking, there would be conditions you would have to follow.
Oh, of course,
Certain
of
things
course.
that you could do.
Yes, of course.
If you didn't follow those, then you could go to prison for a long
Yes,
time.
yes.
You
I
understand
all of that, yes. I understand that I have to put my part, you know, I have to help, and it's all about John. It's all about John, helping him, you know. He needs help, you know, he does. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but I don't think he needs to go to prison. I just, honestly don't. I would like to get him help somewhere else.
Do you think
Hey.
if he got the right help, John could be a productive citizen? And
Of course, yes, of course. I mean, it's been back and forth, you know. Everybody's in their place and there's people that have been proven to approve to do better. So, yes, he's a good person, you know, he does have a good heart, you know.
how is he at home? Does he help you at home and do stuff?
Oh, yes, yes, he's very, very protective with me also, you know, he does, you know, try to, because I have a lot of things that are wrong with me, you know, and he tries to help me, he tries to tell me, you know, Mom, don't overstress yourself, you know, he does a lot to help around the house all the time.
I think that in our previous conversation, you had some medical issues at court.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about? That he helps you with? Can you
Yes.
tell the court just a little bit about that, more in detail?
Okay, so first, if I found out that, cause my shoulder would dislocate all the time, like it would pop out of place, and, I went to see the doctor, and then I found out that, you know, my ligaments are torn from basically my arm just twists, you know, it comes out of place all the time, so there's certain things that I can't do. I mean, John always helps me to make sure that I don't, you know, pick up anything, whatever it is at home. And then little by little things started coming out, like, high blood pressure, now I have thyroid problem, you know, stuff like that, and he helps me. Tries to make sure that I'm doing good, I'm feeling good. If I'm not feeling good, he'll help me.
So you think that it would be, for your benefit, it would be good if John could be home to help?
Well, of course, but it's more about him.
No further questions, Your Honor.
State,
Briefly, Judge, Ms. Juarez, you said that John is a good boy, but you understand he's charged with something very serious, correct? And you heard the victim testify as to what happened.
Yes, and I do feel bad, I do feel bad. Like I said, I'm not saying it's okay, you know, I'm not.
And I believe the second witness said, John's been in trouble before. He had a juvenile history, correct?
Yes, but he's been a kid, you know, he was a teenager. I mean, he's growing up, you know, now he's an adult, and now it's time for him to prove that this is the way he's gonna be, you know. If he's not given a chance, then how will he know?
But I guess some may say, you know, what are we putting at risk to decide if he wants to grow up? What if this happens again, or what if something worse happens again?
We'll see, the thing is that if he were to be given an opportunity, he's gonna be on restrictions, you know? It's my job now at this point, you know, like I said, I'm not perfect, no parent is. It's my
Was he
job to
on-
be on him more now, and I will do that.
Was he on restrictions whenever he had the juvenile cases?
Well,
He did
he
have
was-
juvenile
he was-
restrictions.
Give me one person at a time, please, one person at a
Yeah, let me
time.
just
Counsel, your
ask-
question?
Yes, Judge. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Sorry.
He was on restrictions for the juvenile case, correct?
Yeah, he was on probation, but I don't think that the probation officer would bring so much. He wasn't restricted.
And you mentioned that yourself, I believe your boyfriend and your his little sister would help provide support to keep him on the right path.
Yes, I have another son also, so, yes, all of us.
But ultimately, John's gonna have to decide what he does. Y'all can't stop
Of
him from
course.
doing anything.
Yes, I mean, he's gonna be, he wants to be in you know, later on down the future, but with my help and everybody else's help, we can shape him to be a good adult.
But all of you guys were present when this happened, and he still went into someone's room in the middle of the night and pointed a gun at a 10-year-old and a woman.
Allegedly, I don't know. Allegedly.
So from where you're coming from, it's allegedly.
I wasn't there, I don't know. I
I'll
can't
pass the
say
word.
yes or no.
Understand? I'll pass it.
defense.
No further questions.
All right, thank you for coming
Thank
down.
you. Thank you.
Do you have any other witnesses?
Just argument. Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Juarez, can you come forward, please? When you entered this plea with the state, you gave up the right to remain silent. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
John Aguilar.
right, where's her son's PlayStation?
I'm not sure,
Well, when you took it from the house, where did you take it?
my house.
All right, so is it still at your house? You want me to call your mom? Have his mother come back up here, please. Step to the side. You're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
All right. Where is her son's PlayStation? Your son just said he took it to your house. Where's the PlayStation?
I don't know anything about the position, and we no longer live at the house either. We had to move from the house.
All right, come step back over. Just 1 second. Just take a step back, but don't go to your seat. Where did you put the PlayStation when you brought it to your home?
I just left it in the bag. I was moving around a lot.
Where's that bag?
I'm not sure.
Who played on that PlayStation when you took it from her home?
Nobody.
So you're telling me you just have a PlayStation that you stole at gunpoint and you just leave it at your house and nobody's playing with it, nobody's pawning it, it's just there? Is that what you're telling me?
I got arrested the next day.
So then if that bag was at your home, at your mom's home, they should have that PlayStation. Okay. All right, Mom, you can have a seat.
Yes.
Unless there's no questions for him, I'll hear argument.
No.
Unless somebody wants to tell me where that PlayStation is, because that mother wants her son's PlayStation that her deceased husband gave to the son. I understand the truck is out of the question because it's been totaled. So her son wants his PlayStation that his deceased father gave him that somebody took when they held them at gunpoint. And that somebody would be you. So where's the PlayStation?
I don't know if you looked at the reports, if you looked at the interview that he gave, there was another person involved, an older adult was involved, which the police questioned my client about him. He did not want to give up the name. He's the one that actually took the truck and the PlayStation that time. So that's where probably he doesn't know where it is because this older adult supposedly went back to Corpus and has not seen him
Right.
since that time. So
But your client just told me that he took the PlayStation to his house. Unless this older person went to his house and removed the bag that had the PlayStation in it, it should be at his home.
I don't know, I'm just telling you that that's possible. I'm, like I said, that's a possibility because the truck was taken by the other person.
All right, I'll hear argument.
Judge, from the state's perspective, Judge, I think this is a case where John Juarez, he is friends with Maria's son. And he sought out his victim because he knew that she was a widow who would be home by herself without anyone to defend her. He comes in with a gun and some older kid, specifically going in to take advantage of this woman who is supposedly who is supposedly his friend's mother. You know, there's money, you know, I know they stole money, but there's some things you can't replace. You can't replace this PlayStation that we don't know where it's at. It sounds like it was a gift from a father before he passed away that now a 10-year-old, something that he could have remembered his dad was taken at gunpoint in the middle of the night while he was laying in bed with his mom. That's something that's going to be on his mind for the rest of his life. That's something that he's going to have to live with. That one of the last memories of his dad and something he gave him was two men coming in the middle of the night, pointing a gun at him and his mom and taking that. The same thing with the truck, Judge. This sounded like it was something that the father worked really hard to get. Maria kept the payments up. She even paid her income tax that probably she didn't. That money was probably earmarked for other places, but she kept it because she wanted to keep a memory of her husband who died of cancer. In a single night, John Juarez and this other individual took all of that from them. And not only did they take all that from them, they left on each one of them the feeling of unsafety in their own home, that at any point people are going to bust in, put guns in their face and steal things from them. Judge, I believe that he put up here, his mother came and testified. I think it's important to see that she said, you know, he's allegedly charged with these things. He confessed to this case. He also pled to this case. If they don't even believe it happens, how are they going to keep him accountable for this not happening in the future? This isn't an isolated incident. This isn't the first time this has happened. We believe that John Juarez needs to go to prison. We believe he specifically targeted this house and took advantage of a woman who was there by herself with her 10-year-old son and took things that can never be replaced.
All right, defense.
John, We understand this is a very serious case, and that's why he agreed, he pled no contest, being contested. And it is correct, when you met with the police, it was an interview where they confessed to it, and they came into our review of the case, and I discussed with the client. But, Your Honor, I'd like to see the court consider, he is a young man, he has made some problems, no question about this, made some real major mistakes. But he's looking at a real serious charge at this time with that, as the court knows, aggravated robbery. The MIC evaluations and all the other ones the courts have read does talk about some of his mental health issues and how he could possibly get help by being supervised. I like the court to consider that. I think that he's young enough where we could turn him around if we give him a chance, and as the court knows, on the bird. Actually, if he messes up, it could be a lot worse for him than it is today. The court knows he would be open to any punishment that the court wants to do. But my client is instructed, he wants to try and get deferred. I explained that to him. So I'd like to see him have a chance and keep his record clean if possible, and give him the services he needs. The drug treatment, the mental health treatment, and the center of healthcare services that are listed in here that they think could be advantageous.
Right, I don't understand why your client keeps stealing. Mr. Warris, why do you keep stealing?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you.
I mean, there's some thought that goes into it because I read the stipulations, you climbed through a window. So there has to be a thought that, let me go to this house. So that means that however you get in there, whether you're walking or driving, that takes a thought process. Then climbing through a window as opposed to going through the front door, that takes some thought process. Then pulling out a gun and pointing at someone, that takes some thought process. Telling someone that, okay, I'll let you keep your green card, but you need to give me the rest of the cash, and looking through a wallet, that takes some thought process. Taking a PlayStation, that takes some thought process. Getting in the truck and leaving took some thought process. So I don't understand why you keep stealing, because there were other witnesses who testified that you broke into their home as well. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything that I can give you. I don't think there's any type of probation that I can give you, because you've been on probation before. And that's where we are. And at some point, your actions are your actions. I know there are a lot of people who have ADHD. They don't go around breaking into people's homes and pointing guns at them. And that's where we are today. I'm going to deny your application, find you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Take in consideration County Court cause number 672235. There's to be no contact with Maria Balderas Calderon. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. I'll recommend the therapeutic community. Therapeutic community will not increase your time at the prison, but I do not have any jurisdiction to force them to place you in the therapeutic community. The nature of your offense may preclude you from being placed in the therapeutic community, but you definitely will not be considered if you don't ask for it. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. You're going to have to learn to do better.